Hi, I'm Sammy and I love sharing how to grow in a small little space. Today we're going to go through 5 winter crops that you guys can get started today. It be a small garden like I have, a patio or a balcony. And stay tuned to the end because I'll give you 2 extra bonuses that will actually bring in the pollinators to help your crops grow. Okay, the best way to show you guys my 5 favorite winter crops is actually take you around my homestead. Some of them are still in seedling trays growing, but some of them are already in my raised beds growing. Plus I do succession planting, which means I've got some in the seedling trays growing, and by the time they are probably, I would say, 5 to 10 centimeters, I'll start another seedling tray with some more crops. In that way, I've got different times that I can actually harvest. By the time I harvest my crops that are already mature and able to harvest from, then I don't run out on that crop. I'll have the second batch coming in. I can harvest from that while the first crop is basically recovering and growing more. And then by the time the second crop is done, I go to the third one and I rotate like that. So throughout winter, I'll always have spinach or whatever crop I'm growing. So let's start with the very first one, and that is spinach and chard. So the nice thing about chard is that you can start taking the leaves from the outer, while the inner piece of the chard grows new leaves, and you'll always get some beautiful chard. This is maybe probably the best example here. I can just take from the outside like that, and you can see on the inside there's new chard growing, and you get different types of chard. This is the red stem chard, you get the yellow and orange stem chard, and that is the mixed Swiss chard. Not only do I grow chard for me to cook at home, but I also share it with my animals. We've got chickens and we've got rabbits that roam free here, and I know the chickens absolutely love chard. I'll sometimes find Dolly, the oldest chicken that we've got, standing on my pot plant and just leaning over picking my Swiss chard, and I really don't mind because that's what the homestead's about. It's about growing crops not just for yourself but to feed your animals, and that is what I like. I like growing quite a lot of Swiss chard and spinach and lettuce in order for the animals also to have some fresh foods that I know that I've grown. In this bed I've got some more Swiss chard, and you can see this bed is absolutely looking lush. So this bed has celery, it has kale, it has chard, it has spinach, it has lettuce, it has peas and beans. And the beans are starting to dry up, so I need to harvest that. But what I like about this bed is that everything works together and nothing will basically take the energy out of another crop. And also by planting my beans here, that is fantastic because beans are really good in nitrogen, so it fixes my soil in that way. But let me show you quickly the beautiful stuff that I'm growing here. Okay, so you can see in this garden, it's just one crazy, lush, beautiful, insane mix. And here is some more of that chard with the red stem. And that is awesome. I love growing things like this. And this is a perfect example of a winter bed. Okay, so my second crop would be obviously spinach. So we've done chard. Now we move on to spinach. And spinach is also very similar to the Swiss chard. You can harvest from the outside, and then on the inside it will start growing back. and I also do succession planting with that. So over here you'll see that I have a very young spinach growing, and at the back I've got another spinach, just show you there, growing. And where else? Over here I got some more spinach growing, and at the back there. But I absolutely love the spinach only because it is soft, it is tasty, and I just love the way it grows. It hasn't really given me any problems. And there's a few different spinaches that I love to grow that are in the seedling trays, but at the moment this is what we've got going right now. Crop number 3 is lettuce. Lettuce love the cooler weather. Also, they don't bolt as quick as it would in hotter climates. And right now is the perfect time to grow lettuce. My lettuce are all from the summertime, and so I'm going to have to grow some more because I've taken the middle out. It was starting to bolt. The minute it starts bolting, it'll start going bitter. But right now it's fine. And then let's just go to the other side, and we've got some lettuce here. There's some lettuce. It also started to bolt. More lettuce there, over there. And I think this lettuce is the iceberg lettuce. It's the one that is round and curls. So it's not looking too healthy there. There you go. Perfect example of one of the baby chickens, and they'll just discover the the spinach and the chard and start eating it. But over here we've got some more. There you go. That's a perfect example what happens. Some more lettuce here, some more lettuce there. And I'll be taking these pot plants away and sowing some more stuff there when the seedlings are done. The reason I've done that is because we had one of our Rhode Islands, Jessica. She passed away and I buried her here. The sad thing is that Dolly, who is her sister, was sitting here, somehow sensed that we buried Jess here and wanted to dig. And out of the whole homestead, this is the place she just kept on coming back to. So number 4 is kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is one of my favorite things to grow. It tastes a little bit like a cauliflower and broccoli put together. And I discovered it when I went to Cyprus. My sister bought a kohlrabi. It was a big kohlrabi, and she just cut it in slices, and we put it in some dip and ate it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I have a few growing in my garden. Let me show you. So here's the one. You can see it is beautiful. I can actually harvest this now. It's nice to harvest it while it's young. And the reason it's like this is because I haven't got enough soil in my raised beds. I need to actually top it up, but it's still fun. And then over here, this raised bed's a little bit more better with the soil. And you can see at the back there, I have another kohlrabi there. And I'm sure there's a few others tucked in my garden somewhere. But yeah, kohlrabi is awesome. And it's a funky plant to actually grow. And they get bigger than this. But I only like to grow a handful, and that's okay. So the next crop is beans. So peas and beans are awesome. I have some broad beans going on. I just want to see. Yeah. So let me show you one of my broad beans. Okay. This is one of my broad beans. It's the aqueduct broad bean. It's growing nicely. And so I've just put it here so it can start trailing. And I'll just show you another bean. This is the wonder bean. And this one is just trailing up here. It's doing absolutely amazing, and it's got some ripe beans here. So let me open it, and there you go. So it has about 2 to 3 pods. There's the third one on the floor. Well, I would say 2 to 4 pods. I've seen some that have more. What I do is that I take this, put it on my counter for a week with the pods, and then a week later I take it out. I let it sit on my counter for another week or two when I shell it out. And I just make sure that the beans are all dry before I bottle them so that no mold appears. And tonight I'm actually soaking some so that I can make a nice beef stew during the week. So all the ones that are dry, I'm going to actually take off and start drying them out. But that is another winter crop which I absolutely love growing at the homestead. I have one of the beans growing, and it's actually gone up this trellis, but I just wanted to show you how beautiful these flowers are. They just got a whole bunch of purple flowers coming up, and eventually this will all turn into beans. So this is one of my celeries, as well as that one at the back there is one of my celeries, and I think I've got a celery somewhere else, just can't see it. And what I do is I didn't actually plant these celeries from seed. So I got a celery, cut it off, and I took that base, instead of putting it in water for the roots to grow, I stuck it straight into the ground, and it worked perfectly. So I went and grabbed some more celery plants, planted it around the homestead, and that was awesome. It worked out perfectly. Got to use the celery, I got to use the bottoms, and I got 3 celery plants out of it. And what happens is summer, I would say in the middle of summer, it kind of like dies off. It doesn't grow. And when the weather starts getting a little bit cooler, it starts coming back. So I actually thought I had lost it, but it's coming back lush, and it is a perfect winter crop. And another one is leek. Leek is something that I've got growing in the seedling trays, and we grow about 6 to 8 of these plants. That is more than enough, because last year I grew a little bit more and there was just way too much. What I do is that we make some beautiful potato leek soup. We have a nice big pot for that night or the next day, and then I freeze the rest in batches, where if we want some soup, take it out and defrost it, and there's supper ready with a nice bread roll or whatever you like to eat soup with. So that's another bonus. So let's go to the 2 bonuses I was actually meant to tell you that can bring in pollinators and help your garden just look a little bit beautiful. Okay, so your 2 bonuses are the African daisies. I have 2 over here, the white African daisy and the high noon mix. And they are fantastic to grow between autumn and winter. They just give your garden a little bit of a pop, and they're absolutely beautiful. So these are flowers that you can start growing. So don't just grow veggies and things like that in your garden. Try and introduce some winter flowers that is just going to make your garden look a little bit alive, because a lot of people say winter gardens look really dead. There's not much to grow. There's not much to do. I was one of them saying that. But there is flowers that can grow in winter. And these are my 2 favorite ones that I'm getting going today. So that was a little bit of a winter tour in my back garden. I'm just chilling here with the chickies. I had another one here. There, she's at the back there. So I hope that that helps you. Go and get your winter garden going because it doesn't stop here. There is things that you can grow, and add some flowers. It will make it look absolutely beautiful. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of our tips that we have at the homestead. Until then, have a awesome day and let's learn together as we grow together. See you in the next video.